ladies and gentlemen, to the Deep Theories podcast. Get ready to go off the rails on subjects that will have your mind racing. Who are the Majestic 12? Who really built the pyramids? What's on the dark side of the moon? What's the egg theory? Join us as we go off the rails on theories of the universe. Welcome.
And welcome, ladies and gentlemen. What?
Yeah, there's a reason.
What? All right. There we go. Speakers on. All right, so we took a break last week for a little R&R, and that turned into So, this week we're kind of going off the cuff on it, and going to dive deep into some theories on a couple of different subjects, but they kind of go hand in hand. One being like, prophetic, proclamations, meaning somebody, like Nostradamus, Baba Vanga, Mira Tabarahar. I didn't pronounce that right. I'm terribly sorry, but
No, you're not.
various others, and then also kind of touch a little bit on like telepathy, telekinesis, kind of stuff, and some of the deep theories that kind of surround that, such as like governments using that for war tactics and such. So, I personally didn't do a whole lot of research this week, so we're just gonna kind of wing it. I mean, I know enough about some of it, so we ought to be alright.
I got plenty of inspiration.
I got some inspiration, right? Sure.
Also, do you want a piece of that? Yeah.
So everybody they all know, Nostradamus. Most everybody's heard that name brought up at least once or 500 times.
What? No, who's that?
Dude.
Some dude back at that time that said some shit.
Everybody, and
Are you not actually gonna go there with this?
No, Nostradamus. No, Nostradamus was around early 1400s, and he had a lot of his quatrains, is what they were called. But he did them in like a very weird dialect, or in a weird language. It was kind of a hodgepodge of multiple languages that he would use, and the way that he would even write different languages in reverse and stuff, so they were tough to figure out. But he had a lot of his little predictions or quatrains, a lot of which people have said have come true. Others kind of rebuke that and say,
It's left for
it's all
interpretation.
it's open to interpretation, and so. But there's been others too that have been, maybe not so popularized as much as Nostradamus. Baba Vanga, she was our most recent, or one of our most recent ones. She was born in Bulgaria. There was a bad windstorm that came through, and she was caught in it, and the wind was strong enough that it, had blown her for a ways. And when she had came to, she had dust and dirt in her eyes, because her eyes were open, I guess during that. And they didn't, because of money problem, they weren't like a rich family or anything. So she wasn't able to get the proper care. And as side effect of that, she ended up losing her sight at a young age. But she's had a lot of, prophetic kind of visions or what have you that, she's talked about. That, again, a lot of people have said have come true, and a lot of people go open to interpretation. But she's our most recent that people have, this modern age have been able to talk to. There's been others in between. I shared one with Justin the other day. Uh, no, shoot, no, I gotta pull this thing up because I just had brain fart. Mira Taberhar. I don't know how to fucking pronounce that shit, man. Let's see.
Are we doing another one of these things where we
Just skim over everything?
No. I was just naming a couple, and then we would dive in like wherever we wanted to start. I was just naming a couple. I started with, like this was, the oldest one that I could think of that most people would know.
Okay. Well,
and this is like the most recent.
I'm in like a. I thought we were gonna dive into as well. Like, what else is there to do?
Dive into Nostradamus.
Dive into all.
Okay.
All the ones that you mentioned, at least.
I would like to know more about the Baba
Vanga.
There you go.
Yeah, but like, if you're gonna, I would.
No, we'll start with Nostradamus because he's the most. I mean, there are some that go back. So, I mean, technically, the Bible has the Book of Revelations, which is a book of basically prophecies. What's going to happen in the future. But I want to start at like Nostradamus, just because that's the most well known. Would that make sense with you?
Whatever you want to do.
It's whatever, dude. We don't do shit.
I'm here. I was just.
We're here to do. Well, I'm here to learn. If we go anything other than Nostradamus, I don't know shit. So, and I've been way too busy to do any kind of looking into anything.
I wasn't.
Well, let's start with Nostradamus.
I found out yesterday.
So,
I found out today.
Yeah.
all right. So Nostradamus was born. Sorry, he was born very early 1500, December 14th, 1503.
I was making the keyboard sounds for him while he was typing in his phone.
By he didn't live to necessarily be very old either.
Well, nobody really lived to be that old then.
No.
Wasn't he around during Black Plague time?
I'm not sure if it was Black Plague or the Potato Famine. One of those
Spanish flu.
And then he died in 1566. He was a French astrologer, physician, and widely read seer of the Renaissance. Hopefully a better catcher than I.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to second that one, Box.
So 1530s he started doing, medicine. And it was around that time that he started, getting a little rambunctious in his, like medical practices. He was somebody that, was curious, one of those curious people. So he may have
danced around the lines of morality.
Yeah. So 46, 47, that's when he really started doing his prophecies. And he would have like a bowl of bowl of water on his, desk or whatever, was. I would assume it would be something like what we would consider to be nowadays a desk. And he would also drink a tea. And without really knowing what that tea, was, because he spoke of it, it was some kind of herbs. Then he would look in this bowl of water, and he would get these visions, or that would come in, and then he would just write them down. Over the years, he became. It was something that kind of consumed him, he kind of became somewhat of a recluse. Obviously, back then, somebody like that, writing prophecies like that, you'd have been, what's the word? You've been pegged a heretic, I believe is the correct word, or like a pagan person, going against the church, and so people like
you'd be heretic to the church,
and so you would be excommunicated, and so for a while he lived out in like the mountains or the hills, like in a cave or whatnot, and he did some of his visions out there he had, and documented. And then he even at one point said or prophesized his own death, as well as his own like not necessarily resurrection, but when his body was dug up and exhumed, he also prophesied about that, and basically it put a curse on whomever it broke his silence or peace or whatever you want to call it, and I found that pretty interesting, but again,
I'm curious to see how that curse actually played out.
If I'm not mistaken, the two people that dug him up died shortly after, similar to like when King Tut was discovered, that person, and anybody else when they first opened that.
I thought that was considered
because of the spores and stuff that were inside, probably what killed them, the gases and all that. I mean, you had a body in there that basically rotted over 3,000-4,000 years.
I thought it was the old like mercury poisoning from the lighting of that.
Mercury, that was I remember hearing something about mercury too.
Or is that just a hoax?
I mean, that could be what they're telling you. Who knows? I mean, hell, I keep reading stuff about fucking alien motherships right now spying on us. I don't know.
What?
Yeah, we went off the rails there. Yeah, no, we pulled it back on track. That was one of those. If you look out the left, there's some jackass jumping up and down on a trampoline naked. Weird. Boing, 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 boing.
Are you okay?
No.
Blink twice. Ain't okay.
Blink twice.
He's skipping me with my own weed.
Oh, my bad. Here, have that too.
What a dick.
I didn't even know this.
Not even letting me smoke my own weed.
I'm sorry.
Shame on
Special
you.
Sally today. So Nostradamus had a lot of his quatrains. He had talked about in one of his metal birds. So which people took to, oh God, this is 9/11. He's talking about airplanes. It said something about the metal birds or something would take down the towers of the great empire, the world, the world power or something similar to that.
It could be true.
But again, it was, it's all
open to interpretation.
I don't know if I have it pulled up on my.
Because they were also using that as in World War II. Just like Hitler was the second coming of the Antichrist. Then when 9/11 happened, they said George W. Bush was the second coming of the Antichrist. Or the Antichrist was the second coming of the devil. Basically. So, I mean, open to interpretation.
I mean, even Nikola Tesla had fucking.
Believe what the church tells you. All hail the church.
I thought it was the underpants gnomes.
Underpants gnomes?
Yeah,
what?
The underpants gnomes. Yeah, you don't know about the underpants gnomes?
No, what?
Oh, you need to watch South Park more.
Yeah, that's one of those shows I know. James. James.
Yes, sir.
James.
Hi, how you doing? All right, so yeah, I know. I'm trying to bring up the doohickama thingamajigama-bobber. Lovely.
Buffer team.
Buffer does that a lot.
What, squirrels?
No, buffer.
Oh, well, squirrel buffer, usually leads to a glitch in the matrix.
All right, so this is off of history. So yeah.
It's from the History Channel, so it's written.
No, this is just written in a series of quatrains, 4 lines of rhyming verse, grouped to blah blah blah. There's some other stuff and some things here. Okay,
real descriptive.
Yeah, I'm trying to skim through here. All right, so here's the and this says ambiguous. No, I can't even.
Ambiguous.
Ambiguous.
Ambiguity.
There we go. Ambiguity. Fuck, I don't fucking know. It says 2 steel birds will fall from the sky on Metropolis. The sky will burn at 45 degrees latitude. Fire approaches the great new city. Immediately, a huge scattered flame leaps up. And then in version 2, it said, in the year of the new century and 9 months, from the sky will come a great king of terror. The sky will burn at 45 degrees. Fire approaches the great new city.
What?
There was 2 different interpretations because, again, the way that Nostradamus wrote, he used different languages and different.
He made shit cryptic, so no one could tell him he was wrong.
And it took people 400 years to figure out what the fuck he was.
Figured it out, really.
Yeah, so there's some that say, well, this is the French version, and then there's others that say, well, this is, a Bulgarian, version or whatever.
Say,
and then others say that he was just speaking in tongues and languages that were like ancient even to them at that time. Which he said that, supposedly, again, he got from these visions, these, whatever he was having in this bowl of soup. So.
Well, you don't know what he was tripping on because he wasn't a
back then, back then he also dealt in alchemy, and, metallurgy kind of stuff, trying to, make gold out of fucking, mixing chemicals together. And mercury was, a common chemical that they would fuck with, thinking they could make gold, and lead too. So just think about all the fucking lead poisoning that was going around, or mercury poisoning.
You're just telling me this dude was schwacked out on fucking mercury?
Dude, well, where do you think the term Mad Hatter came from? Is because the mercury that they were working with fucking drove them fucking mad. You don't fuck with mercury. Huh?
Yeah, there was mercury in the hat.
And like the formaldehyde shit, the process of the leather, getting the leather to stiffen and all that, it was something to do with that. And it was the term, Mad Hatter, because of all the mercury that they were around.
Mercury poisoning and lost your mind.
Just the whole.
So you're thinking, you're talking about the factory side of it, though.
But even back then they had mercury. In the 1500s, they absolutely had mercury. And he was in a scientific, part of the scientific community. But I think he was whacked. To a certain extent, because, the dude was like weird. He would just he would eat rats in his fucking, when he, when he had moved back from, his little moment of solitude for, I think it was like 10 years or 4 years.
He spent 8 of those 10 years traveling through Italy and France.
No, he lived out in like a fucking cave. He became a fucking recluse from people, and that's when he was tripping on. He was doing, drinking this tea and going on these vision things, and that's when he started writing a shit ton of quatrains. But then he traveled back to where I think it was France. Traveled back to France, and then was, doing his best to avoid the church, because the church wasn't happy that, he was putting these books out that didn't necessarily talk about the church. And at around that same similar to that same time or close to, you also had Da Vinci, and people said that Da Vinci, was, kind of predicting the future, and he left behind, documented, proof that people can interpret, like the drawings of the helicopters and, some of the other things that he was talking about.
And everything else.
Nikola Tesla was somebody else that predicted the future. He predicted Wi-Fi, cell phones, radio, television, a way to collect energy from the air.
He was literally trying to do it.
I think he knew how to do it, and I think that unfortunately the powers that be got to him and took those ideas, and because he was a normal person somewhat, other than the fact he was a little eccentric, a little different, but he wasn't crazy.
As
but then
most people,
but then the government came into play, and big corporate people came into play, and or big companies came into play, not corporate, big companies. And then next thing you know, the guy's losing his mind, and he's a quack, and other people are getting credit for the shit he's doing, and I mean he got a bad deal.
Oh yeah,
but
agreed.
So Nostradamus, he a lot of that stuff's open to interpretation there. And it seems like almost every 100 years, just about since then, there comes, somebody that's, has these visions or whatever that, kind of gets brought to light or talked about. Nikola Tesla was, 1900s, early 1900s. I think who was before that, the 1800s. Oh, is that one dude?
Mr. I'm not even gonna bother.
Yeah,
that one dude, yo.
Yeah,
old boy from that one place.
Yeah, that
you
one
remember
dude,
he was right there standing next to the short guy?
Nope.
Oh, wow, shit.
He was from 1829 to 1899. Maitar Tarabich. Tarabich. So I don't know how to pronounce that. But he was a Serbian peasant. And he made some pretty crazy well, he was a regular dude.
You gotta learn from D&D's mistakes, my guy.
So all of his words come just now. This is, again, not only is this one open to interpretation, but we're playing a game he said, she said here. His words come from the conversations with his godfather, Zechariah. So you should be aware that any references to you or your descendants relate to Zechariah the priest, specifically. When Maitar says us, he means the Serbs, but he does not distinguish between Croats, Serbs, Slavians, etc. To him, everyone who spoke his language was a Serb. So, but
sure.
Say what?
I said that's fair. We need to stop providing. Right.
So a lot of his kind of went around that. Let's see. One of his predictions was after the Great War, peace will reign over the world. Many new states will appear: black, white, red, and yellow. An international court is formed, which does not allow countries to fight each other. This court will be above all kings. Where a war starts, the court will judge justly, trying to transform hatred and butchery into love and peace. The lucky ones who live to see those times will be more than happy.
And then if you go back to some historical times, and again, they just kind of throw, pick and choose how these things fit. But in December of 1945, the United Nations was established. Articles 38 or 33 through 38 of the Charter authorized the Security Council to encourage disputing nations to settle their differences through peaceful means, including negotiations, inquiry, mediation, conciliation, arbitration, and judicial settlement. From 1946 to 1970, dozens of countries from Asia, Africa, the Middle East, and South America achieved independence. So, and again, open to interpretation. This is, people just saying things and people going, okay, well, what fits there the best? But it fits. I mean, you can't, there's no denying that it does fit, and it is uncanny.
But you can make it fit anything. You can have multiple options.
Like what?
I don't fucking know. I just fucking spouting shit.
Well, let's see.
Tell me
What else would you name it? Because I feel like that's pretty good.
I don't know. I wasn't even paying attention. I'm too high for this right now. I don't know nothing about this one. I don't know nothing. I'm
just trying to find another one.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
This is
basically. Is there another organization that started after World War I, World War II? After the Great
because
War,
he died in 1899. So this is any kind of organizations or anything that started basically from then.
Well,
So
it would, he says after the Great
War. So yeah.
So it would be after World War One, because that is known as the Great War.
I think he said the
World
Great
War
War
II. Yeah, I guess World War II would be considered the Great War because of all of the technical.
Yep, after the Great War, so 1945 would have been after World War One. World War II didn't end until 47.
Yeah,
so not.
Because the UN was.
Well, either way,
39 to 45.
Okay, so it would have been after the Great War of the Second World War.
Cold War started in 47.
Cold War started in 47. Okay. All right, so.
Okay, so I was on the right track first.
Yeah. Oh, darn it. Where'd it go? Oh, there we go. So this is Mytar predicting television. Men will build a box, and within will be some kind of gadget with images, but they will not be able to communicate with me already dead. Oh, I'm sorry, which one?
Dude, you were literally helping with it. Anyways,
with what conversation? Sorry, did I get squirrel myself? What?
Yeah.
The World War.
Yeah. Was there any other organizations that were made after World War II that basically polices countries and tries to mitigate
NATO?
anything?
NATO?
But
I think that was more of the 70s. I thought that came about in the 70s. So, I mean, United Nations is the only thing right around the end of the Great War, which would have been World War II, because a lot of people died in World War II. And that was a dirty, fucking, sad, fucked up war. Well, there's like half a dozen or so out the fridge. Ooh, wow. Good lord, man, that fucker's cold too. Wow.
49.
49 was NATO?
Yeah.
I mean, either or. I mean, that's a pretty good prediction, so that's about the only two. But I guess here's my thing on it.
But I would argue that UN does come first.
Yeah, nations, yeah.
It does come right after the Great
War. Well, that's pretty, to me, I find that it's pretty easy to predict stuff like that. It's like right now,
the Great War, 18 what?
99.
He just knew that there was a fucking not one, but 2 wars a brewing? And one of them would be significantly worse than the other?
I mean,
there's always a war coming.
I mean, I could do the same thing.
Yeah,
That's
but
why.
Gray Wars.
True.
In 18.
I could say World War III or a nuclear war right now, and boy, chances of that are pretty high happening right now, especially now.
We are a few years from World War III.
Yeah,
where 50, he is 50, how many?
Yeah, 50 years out at least. Well, he died in 1899, but you know these things were written, you know, in the 60s, or well, spoken to his godfather in the 60s.
And we're already in the mobilization phase, my guy. So we are literally one missile coming to fucking the U.S. to this being a whole fucking thing again.
Which one of those?
How much you want to fucking bet?
So
one missile.
But now he also.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right. I mean, that's
one
a pretty good.
One spy caught in this fucking place. Whoop, we're over there. Anything.
Right.
Literally anything. We're itching. Already using up our supplies over there.
So he also predicted television. Can I go to television now?
No.
No, I gotta stand down.
No, you can go. I was prodding.
I mean, he's dead. I mean, if that's what you want to say.
I was prodding him to fucking give me a better thing, better organization than that.
Like I said, I didn't hear half of what
United Nations is gonna stick the best.
I know.
So I wasn't even sure what to look for.
Because that would make sense using those colors, you know, red, yellow, you know, because those are a lot of the colors of these nations. You know, those different nations coming into it. So, I mean, that's the best one I can think of. So, I mean, that's a legit.
Okay, so color TV now. They're TV.
All right, so a men will build a box.
The picture box.
And within will be some kind of gadget with images, but they will not be able to communicate with me already dead, even though this image gadget will be as close to this other world as hairs on the human scalp are close to each other. That's a mouthful. With the help of this image gadget, man will be able to see everything that is happening all over the world.
You're saying that's the television.
Well, he said, you know, an image box, historical facts, invention of televisions and the computer, influence of the internet, such as CNN, Al Jazeera, Fox News, Coast TV, etc. You know, searching Google with the search word goes and takes you directly, you know, to certain entries.
Yeah, I would say that I would argue phones. I would argue phones or computers. What that would be.
I only say computers because.
All right. So this is another good one. This one is a
that's fair.
This one is a word or open to interpretation and what your definition of a certain word may be. Okay.
Well, I mean, in fairness, computers did look like TVs at one point.
They
could be mistaken.
Yeah,
could be somewhat.
Yeah, no, they definitely.
That's a valid point.
Definitely look
that's
like
a valid
TVs.
point. Yeah, because they don't look like this. They're more of a cart style.
No, you're not wrong.
It's box. Yeah, it was more of a box.
No, you're not wrong.
Okay, good point there though.
Yeah, good get.
So this one here, people will drill wells deep in the ground and dig out gold, which will give them light, speed, and power, and the earth will shed tears of sorrow, because there will be much more gold and light on its surface than in its interior. The earth will suffer because of these open wounds. Instead of working in the fields, people will dig everywhere in right and wrong places, but the real power will be all around them, not being able to tell them, come on, take me. Don't you see that I'm here, all around you? Only after many a summer, people will remember this real power, and then they will realize how stupid it was to drill or dig all these holes. So oil and petroleum, also known as black gold, powers the cars, electric generators, plane, etc. Exploration in oil fields is an economically risky task, but in the 80s, oil exploration techniques were more perfected, although the risk of discovering economical, non-viable oil fields still exists. Oil experts have estimated that by 2050, world oil reserves will run dry. So,
Okay.
he said they were going to dig, deep holes
No, yeah.
or deep wells into the ground. Well, to me, that sounds like an oil well or an oil derrick.
Well, to me, it's not only that part, but if you read to dig out gold, which that will give them light, speed, and power.
Yep. Oil.
Light. We use that to power electricity plants.
Gold is a great conductor of electricity.
Oil we use to power our electronics.
The generators that run those, yeah.
Yeah. To power our lights. Speed.
Cars.
Vehicles. Cars.
Rocket ships.
Space
shuttles, yep. Planes.
Power. Power our homes. Power our lives. Literally almost everything we do nowadays takes power.
Yep.
And the earth will shed tears of sorrow.
A lot of earthquakes because of fracking happen.
To me, a gold quarry, okay, sure, takes a lot out of the ground and the earth. I'll give it that.
Right, but it doesn't. Up. It stays.
And it doesn't take it from the, like you were saying the other day, the plates.
Yeah,
it doesn't take it from within
the
ground.
Wonder why we're having so many earthquakes. Yes, it takes away that lubricating barrier.
Well, they're literally creating pockets deep into the ground. That's exactly, and a lot of our fucking, there was a lot of oil underneath us.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, we've been powering our shit for how long?
What is every doomsday movie, that's going to be like, planet destroying kind of have in common? They come in and take out all, the resources, and what happens? Everything just dries up, turns barren, and done. I think that oil acts just like it does in a car. It's a lubricating barrier between the plates and stuff like that. Plus, it also, I think, helps regulate temperature. Similar to what oil does, in your vehicle. That keeps your cylinder walls from getting too fucking hot due to friction. And that's exactly what's going on with our plates. There's a shit ton of friction. How fucking high am I? Damn.
I was waiting for you two to stop talking so I could make that comment. Seeing as how, I deal with it every day.
Yeah.
But, another thing that probably contributes to this oil crisis, we don't bury your dead in the ground anymore. I just thought of that.
A lot of people are choosing cremation.
It's cheaper.
Cryogenics.
Cremation, but even before that, we buried ourselves in boxes, wooden boxes.
So that we just decomposed into the ground, and guess what we turned into? Well,
but we are not really. The coffins, you're telling me those decompose easily?
Not nowadays. No, but a wood coffin is going to decompose.
That's what I'm saying, though, is the ones that they're making nowadays. Stop those.
There's a large. What? All that metal's going to leach into the fucking water.
I don't live by no freaking cemetery. Actually,
cheap insurance. Cheap fucking homeowners insurance.
You don't have to worry about loud neighbors.
That too.
I don't have
Catch anybody walking around. Just close the door and get back inside.
I'm gonna act like I didn't see that.
Why do you got our face?
Oh, excuse me. Should I read another one of this dudes?
Why not? Let's do it. This is fun.
We're here.
At that right level right this moment.
Oh, this is just a really long one. This is like
a
kind of him. This is like the end of the world kind of damn thing. I mean,
perfect. Does it have anything in there about Biden or Trump?
It says the power will also be present in people, but it will take long time. It will take a long time before they discover it and use it. Thus, man will live.
Power's in the people.
A long, long time not being able to know himself. There will be many learned men who will think through their books that they know and can do everything. They will be the great obstacle for this realization, self knowledge. But once men get this knowledge, then people will see what kind of delusion it was when they listen to their learned men. When that happens, people will be so sorry that they didn't discover it before because this knowledge is so simple. People will do many stupid things thinking that they know and can do everything, not knowing anything. Wise men will appear in the Orient, and their wisdom will cross all seas and frontiers, but people will not trust this wisdom for a long, long time, and this real truth they will proclaim for a lie. Their souls will not be possessed by the devil, but by something much worse. They will believe that their illusion is the real truth, although there will be no truth in their heads.
So that sounds like the government.
That sounds like government or a powerful organization. But he said Orient. The only thing I could put in present day with that, well, I mean, not even present day. I mean, wasn't there the Korean War? World
Maybe
War.
he's predicting the war that's about to come.
Wasn't there World War One with the Japanese?
Two.
Or two?
Both of them. Both of
One
them.
and two.
Yeah.
The Japanese were in both.
Pearl Harbor. I mean, there's a lot of different. I mean, if you want to go, well, Pearl Harbor's not Orient, but that was Japanese again.
Well, that was the start of the.
Yeah.
For us.
So there's
Quote,
different
unquote.
ones. It could be, present day. What's going on right now with China, South Korea, North Korea,
Russia.
Japan for the most part. I don't hear a whole lot going on with Japan. Other than they don't like it when we kind of get in their waters.
Can't blame them there.
No, can't blame them because we don't like people getting in ours. But why? I mean, you would just think common sense. We'd tell people stay out of our shit. Then we just need to do the same. But we're just one of those weird
Team America.
Yeah,
We have to control everybody and everything.
We gotta make sure everyone's as free as us, even though we're not free.
You didn't catch that. Sweet. Nobody caught it. I was trying to light my cigarette with this.
I know, because I did catch it. I'm like, what the? You see what one that is?
I might try another motherfucker. So yeah, I mean, I guess this guy's got some, he's got some decent ones that are, depending on how you want to.
I would definitely agree that he has some pretty on the nose stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
at least from the stuff that you've read. I mean, you didn't read anything else.
I'm just kind of, going through ones that would be easy for us to discuss because we'd be able to, kind of know what it's talking about.
I'm just kind of curious to hear some of the ones that are really open up for interpretation.
Right.
Okay.
These ones seem pretty straightforward. A lot of them.
How about this one? This one's kind of current. The whole world will be plagued by a strange disease, and nobody will be able to find a cure. Everyone will say, I know, because I am learned and smart, but nobody will know anything. People will think and think, but they will not be able to find the right cure, which will be with God's help all around them and in themselves.
Natural herd immunity is what I just heard.
Nope.
Because God gave it to you, and it's within you.
Greed.
Back that one up.
Huh?
Back that one up for me.
Okay.
Yeah, explain.
Greed.
Greed.
Okay, so the world will be plagued by a strange disease, and nobody will be able to find a cure.
COVID.
Okay. To me, I feel like that's greed. Everybody, wants money. They don't. Everybody puts themselves and their gain before most everybody or before others.
Okay, fair enough.
Let's see. Everybody will say, I know, because I'm learned and smart, but nobody will know anything. And it'd be like, oh, I know, I'm not greedy. I'm just trying to, do. But at the end of the day,
you are.
You are. I mean, we all do that. I mean, I'm not ashamed to admit it. There are some things that I have to do that are for me.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I'm sorry, kids, I don't get to spend a lot of time with you because I have to work because I have to pay bills.
That's not greedy.
Well, it's not greed, but I could cut certain things down. But I like to have certain amenities, so to a certain extent, it's greed or self, for my own self gain. To a certain extent. Um, let's see, what was the next verse on that? People will think and think, but they will not be able to find the right cure, which will be with God's help. And see, all around them and in themselves. I feel like that in themselves kind of thing is where people need to step back and do a little self-reflection and be like, wow, I'm being too greedy, or wow, I got all this money and there's so many people that could benefit from, just a little bit. Why don't I try to give back and do good instead of trying to covet everything for myself and my own gain and my own family's, fuck everybody else kind of shit. That's just one way I think you could look at it. And I mean, when I first read it,
I just don't disagree, but like I would say, like as a people as a whole, because there are definitely a certain subject of people, the people that are trying to leave the earth. Anyways, that just rather than helping. Well, there's a certain subject of people that choose to amass a hoard of wealth, a dragon's hoard of wealth.
Oh yeah,
if you would. And choose to do the most astronomical things, kind of as like a big dick swinging race, and then talk crap on it on social media to raise more awareness for themselves, or to bring in more money for themselves, to continue their plots and their schemes to bring in more money to do astronomical things, and not actually do anything that's theoretically, physically helping us. Like anything that's actually helping us. Like I can understand how going multiplanetary could be beneficial, but that's going to take so much of our resources to do it, and we are not.
We don't even know our own fucking planet.
Well, my thing is we're not conglomerated enough to do that. If we were all working together, sure, we can do that. One dude in a fucking attempt of an army to raise a personal army by himself, and everybody else in the world's against him, we're not going to be able to do that. The other dude is just fucking. I don't even want to get into that. Anyways, nobody likes him. We're just gonna leave it at that. And then fucking like what?
Like all these corporations. I get it. You got people that need to make.
Is Bezos even trying to make us multiplanetary, or is he just trying to make space travel?
He's trying to keep up with fucking Elon Musk. I think that's what that is. I think it's two guys about the same age, from the same generation, from the same kind of fucked up upbringing, that think that they need to be the most powerful person or the richest person. Who gives a damn fuck, dude? Like, I'm sorry, but like, I mean, there's magazines out there that profit off of just making a list of the richest people. So,
but yeah. Anyways. Agreed. I can agree, but I think at a more powerful standpoint.
So would you look at that strange disease as like the COVID thing, or
you could? I definitely
cancer.
That is definitely
What about cancer?
Cancer's an intriguing one because
plagued by a strange disease and nobody will be able to find a cure.
Because and then I mean, if you see the cancer things are like rising. Cancer. Why am I retarded? I shouldn't say that word. I'm sorry.
Well, there's a rise in cancer cases.
Yeah, cases. Thank you. And there's also been studies that show that honestly leading like the easiest way to put it, leading a life that's more of our natural ancestral ways, so like away from technology and all the modern livings, actually reduces your chances of getting cancer and all of that.
So, kind of touching on your his next one here, because he did these all in order. His next one goes right back to your planetary kind of thing.
Oh, it's okay. So,
okay.
Yep.
We kind of touched. I wish this would have been in a different order, but I have it like so blown up. I only get one at a time.
You're good. We're here.
Man will travel to other worlds to find lifeless deserts there, and still God will forgive him. He will think that he knows better than God himself. There,
Joe, this kind of correlates though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you.
There, except for the external peace of God, he will see nothing, but he will sense with his heart and soul of all of God's beauty and power. People will drive in rigs upon the moon and stars. They will look for life, but life similar to ours they will not find. It will be there, but they will not be able to understand it and see it, or see that it is life. One who goes there, God will forgive him not believing in God, as it is proper for an honorable and decent person. When he comes back, he will say, "Oh, you people who mention God's name with doubt, go there where I was. Then you will see what is God's mind and power." So that one definitely takes a more religious tone, but
I want to see it. I want to see it. Fucking show me.
It's tough to, like, again, we're interpreting, speech or whatever, or text from, the way they spoke, excuse me, over 200 years ago. That's some tough shit. Fuck, I could barely understand what fucking people say nowadays. Train kept rolling on night long with the slammer in the hand. Is that the ICC? All right. Tonight's shenanigans brought to you by 2 Gram Slammer ICC Cushmans. Good Empire. Hey, yes.
Let me smoke.
And KFC chicken tender meals. Mashed potatoes, mac and cheese, biscuits, chicken tenders, and sauce.
We're
not.
We're trying to
I
get
said, that's why I
sponsorship,
said sponsor us. It was great. It was pretty good. I smashed the fuck out of that shit.
Okay, so we can call them out if we're asking for sponsors.
Yeah.
That's legit.
No, probably not.
No, I haven't. You know how many people I've heard saying and doing that kind of thing?
Cool.
It's kind of, I mean, I don't understand. Trying to break down the God stuff. Like, I'm trying to comprehend that. I'm not very a religious person, so maybe somebody is a religious person can help me.
Maybe to say.
Like, I understand religion, I just don't understand religion.
But see, back then, religion was you had a religion, not, there weren't people like us where they were like, look, I believe in something more powerful than myself, but that's about it. Like, the universe to me is more powerful. Why can't it just be random happenstance that fucking molecules happen to smash in together here on Earth and create some kind of aquatic amoeba that, over billions or millions of years turned into what we have now as fucking life? It is what it is. Or, did we get blown up from another fucking planet and get seeded onto this?
Are we really alien?
I think we are. It would make sense that, like, planets would get
Jesus
seeded.
Was an alien, remember?
Yeah, and we're Jesus. We're made in God's image, so yeah.
I mean,
exactly. God, did you read the Bible?
I had a burning bush once, but
you had that
I had
cream.
to put a cream on it.
Hope you had that cream.
Doctor gave me a cream.
But
It wasn't burning much longer.
It's kind of interesting though because it's kind of spells out that like our seek to become multiplanetary is kind of a worthless effort because we will find nothing there. And I think that if any of the people that are trying to do this ever actually listen to this, I think they should heed his warning. I mean, there's obviously other efforts that we can do. I mean, you guys are intelligent people. Come on, you can't tell me that's your only fucking solution to saving us because
find another planet we can fuck up.
How about this? Because this is totally modern day. The more people will know, the less they will love and care for each other. Hatred will be so great between them that they will care more for their different gadgets than for their relatives. Man will trust his gadget more than his first neighbor.
Yo. That's true. We live in those times right now, bro.
Yeah.
Most people trust this more than they do the person next to him.
To the people that can't see him, he is holding up a
cellular telephone. See?
No, you can't see. It's a microphone.
Oh, here. See?
No,
you just got introduced to it firsthand.
Be correct. Be correct. He's an asshole. He has an iPhone.
Yeah.
I'm an old asshole.
And to be quite apparent and technical, smartphones, which is why I allude to my earlier point, I'll allude to my earlier point of him talking about where they were talking about television. I believe it is cellular devices. I think it's phones. Mm-hmm. Phones destroyed us as humans.
Absolutely.
Which would tell me that he saw further in the future than anybody would like to believe. And obviously he saw the end. He saw close to the end, and what he's detailing there is the rapid descending of man. That's gotta be a deliberate push from something. Like, crazy or not, that's gotta be a deliberate push from something.
So how do you think all these people like Nostradamus, Maitar, Baba Vanga,
we didn't even really touch on Baba Vanga.
Okay.
I thought, are we slowing? What are we doing?
Well, no, I was just, because I was just, those were more from the 15 to 1800s there. Baba Vanga was our more recent, so she's more one we don't have to. There's no we misunderstood her, like this bitch said that shit, and pardon me, ma'am, for being dead, and I just called you the B word, but it is what it is. Lightning bolt strikes me. Anywho, so there's no misunderstanding there, you know. You got that straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak.
Okay, what did the horse's mouth say?
Oh, we want to. All right, so
wait, you had a question.
Yeah, I wanted to know. Do you think these people were, like either Nostradamus tripping on shit? Because this Maitar guy was just a regular dude.
I think it's
just a pheasant. He was a bird. Chew. Fucking didn't owl. That really sucked. BTW.
You were way off the trail.
Anywho.
Okay.
So do you think this was something induced by maybe the chemicals or
right there? That's where it came from.
For real. The chemicals that they were around. Maybe that whatever he was ingesting, tea or food wise, or do you think this is possibility of just getting real fucking lucky? Because it's not like everybody who fucking not everybody fucking makes predictions like that. Writes them down or whatever, like these people have done.
I have a hard time believing coincidences.
You have a hard time with coincidences?
I have a hard time believing in coincidences.
You got a coin? I mean, it's going to be coincidental that if you flip that coin 100 times,
That's not That's not gonna be quintessential anymore. Nope. You know what? You said it. But that's not. That's literally just. That's odds. That's
Probability.
probability. Thank you.
Okay, so
That's no.
That doesn't count.
No. Try something else. Thank you.
I mean, well, I guess like, all right, so okay, we can just rule out just they just happen to get lucky guesses.
It's
because
impossible
it does seem,
to guess something
no,
that far in the future.
And I'll agree with that simply because there are trigger words in there, like Orient, like the one that was talking about Orient, or Nostradamus talking about metal birds flying out of the sky, taking down the twin towers or whatever thing. So
I thought it was the Great City, but okay.
Or the Great City,
which is where I would argue that one's probably the.
So, and like I said, because of trigger words, yeah, I will say that this just you can rule out coincidental.
Yeah,
guessing.
Yeah, that's not. They had those ones predominantly. Like some of them, sure. So I'm sure. I'm sure there are some that guess, but those ones specifically, I don't know about Vanga. Don't know any. So I'm like that one's gonna be a learning session for me as well as Brett. I knew very little about these ones. The last two. So,
this goes this way.
But
I don't.
There's
still a lot of that.
So do you think that maybe it was the chemicals they were around that somehow altering their state of mind?
I think it's possible that they were ingesting something, or something was they were around something. Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
There's definitely that is definitely a problem. That is definitely more probable than them guessing. And I would definitely add to that is probably the most likely cause. And they were
something in their diet,
hallucinating.
Shrooms, the good shit.
And honestly, that doesn't mean that I would not argue that doesn't mean they saw the future doing this.
You did.
I have heard multiple accounts of people saying that they've seen stuff in the future from doing different type of hallucinogenics.
So they're doing these things that maybe activate or alter things in the mind or how we use our brain, and what gives us that ability to truly actually see into the future or tap into superhuman abilities, so to speak, for lack of any other term, just to make it like a layman's term.
Superhuman like abilities. Yeah, I definitely agree with that terminology.
Powers of telepathy, future sight.
It's different because it does come in very cryptic, which is probably the reason that the writing comes out very cryptic. Hence why they talk about like that one was also, the last guy, the
Maitar.
Yeah, Maitar. He was referencing God a lot, and I've heard a lot of experiences with drugs of that sort, where people
see what they perceive as God.
Yeah, and it's very easy, especially in a like that type of state, to easily call any entity that you see as higher than you God. I mean, anything really. Yeah, but he had a belief system instilled in him already, so it's gonna manifest.
It's gonna have somewhat of a biased decision.
It's gonna manifest. Mm-hmm. It's easily gonna manifest as it's something that's.
So you're saying he didn't necessarily get like a conversation from the big G upstairs. He possibly could have been ingesting something or whatnot to alter his state of mind, giving him a superhuman like ability.
I think that is the most
to perceive future events.
I think that is the most highly
probable. I would buy that. I would buy that.
Another argument would be for a starvation like state to get to that.
So he was fasting maybe and was going through like
which is very common.
nutrient deprivation and
especially back in those
starvation
days.
where you're hallucinating. I've been there before. Well, not.
But I mean, if you take
I've been hungry enough. I was about everything looked like a cupcake.
I mean, if you take in the Nostradamus, you were literally saying that he was they were doing like peas and stuff. So like, if there's proof of that.
And he was also messing with chemicals and metallurgy kind of
like,
as well.
That would make sense that like that is especially how he got it for sure.
So either way you look at it, it's a chemical induced hallucination.
Yeah, I mean, I believe so. Yes.
Okay.
I don't.
To me, that's the most probable, most realistic. Than this nigga, like spoke to this motherfucker. Yeah, we're gonna have to edit that part out, baby. Yeah, it doesn't matter. We cancel. Yeah, it'd be fine. Cancel.
Can't cancel us. He owns everything. He owns it all. They can't cancel us. As long as he owns it, he can post whatever. Never mind.
Danny. Oh, I thought.
Way to go.
So, chemical induced hallucinations. And so, you think even this Maitar guy might have maybe not been taught, maybe he didn't tell his his godfather, this, priest that he was telling all this stuff to. You think maybe he was as well, maybe, I mean, 1800s, yeah, you're gonna do stuff like that. Or it was more common to do stuff like that then because not all the regulations are in place yet now. But Nostradamus, I could believe, was a chemically induced, hallucination. The fasting part I can see because that's a pretty religious, yeah. Okay, so let's say he's fasting.
But it also was common for religions back then, at least. I'm not sure about theirs, but
I'm sure there was some kind of ritual
that involved
fasting or drinking this,
of those sorts.
Drink this tea or
that mind-altering substances. Any mind-altering substances.
Yeah, because there's a lot of countries and tribes throughout the world that use drugs. So
yeah, I mean, a common one was ayahuasca. I mean, like that one completely mind alters you for days.
Yeah, DMT. What's the other one? Ecstasy. Well, ecstasy is more of that's more of a manufacturer.
That was not something. Yeah, that
wasn't something. Opium back then too.
Yeah, opium
would give you mushrooms.
Yes,
peyote.
Mushrooms. So psilocybin would be the.
And let's be honest, just straight up fucking food poisoning too.
No, absolutely. There was a lot of. I actually found a bunch of stories where people in villages back in the day got like barley poisoning from their local supplies.
Drunk too.
Yeah, but like they like actually like had hallucinogenic like total trips for weeks because they didn't know. They didn't know it was from the barley, so they kept eating it. That was their only source.
And if they use that barley to make alcohol,
they're drinking it too.
And now you're based. What's that one liquor out there that absinthe or something like that?
Absinthe?
Absinthe or I don't know.
Absinthe?
I can't say it without sounding fucking drunk. It's kind of like the judicial system. I can't say that without the judicial system.
What did you say hiccup about?
It was funny, huh? So they're having a chemically induced or a reaction from either a drug or bad food or bad wine.
They
or
tripping balls.
Drunk. So
they tripping balls.
yeah. So they're just in a different. They're on a whole different level. All right. So we ruled out coincidence. Nostradamus.
The only other thing I could actually say, especially towards this religious character, is and to play devil's advocate. It could be their god. It could very easily could be the person that runs this stuff. Could be easily. I don't know what's going on, but
all right. So, do we want to learn a little bit about Baba Vanga?
Yes.
we're there now.
Would anybody be upset if I put this out?
No. I believe the answer to that is no.
Okay, good. So I didn't want to burn you.
Where are you going?
What are those? Fine.
There we go.
Get what you ask for.
All right. So Baba Vanga, she was a Bulgarian mystic and clairvoyant who lived from 1911 to 1996. She gained notoriety for her prophecies, many of which have been claimed as accurate. Her followers believed she could see the future and predicted significant events that would shape our world. Though Baba Vanga is no longer among us, she did have predictions for the year 2023. Then they remain popular among her followers. What the fuck? She said Baba Vanga predicted a significant earthquake in 2023 in Japan. This prediction comes as no surprise, since Japan lies within an earthquake-prone area of the Ring of Fire. Unfortunately, she didn't provide any specifics about about its magnitude or location, thus making it difficult to judge how accurate this prediction is going to be.
Yeah, so
You want me to go back to the link? So, what? So when she was 9 years old, she got caught she was in Bulgaria. There was a really bad tornado or windstorm that came through.
I thought we went over that.
Oh, we did? Sorry, my bad. Okay.
Didn't we?
That's what you talked about
earlier.
You went to the next
thing. Okay, so then we already got all that. So here's some of the predictions that
there we go.
Baba Vanga. And obviously because these were things that, she said, let's see. She made many predictions throughout her lifetime. Here are some of her more notable predictions. The September 11th terrorist attack on the World Trade Center in New York City.
Really?
The rise of ISIS, the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, the breakup of the Soviet Union, the sinking of the Russian submarine, the Kursk in 2000, the election of Barack Obama as the President of the United States, the Syrian civil war and the refugee crisis, the conflict in Ukraine and the annexation.
You gonna tell us what her actual predictions
are?
Like, what are the actual words that
come on,
said?
man.
Yeah, I'm itching for that. I want to hear what she straight up said.
What the fuck did she say, dude?
Or was she legit this is what's gonna happen, and nobody did anything?
No, I'm sorry. Okay. So the September 11th terrorist attack on the World Trade Center in New York City, Baba Vanga predicted the invasion in 1989, saying a horrible thing will happen in the America caused by two steel birds.
Kind of curious.
She didn't give a date. No date was given, but she predicted this in 1989. She didn't give a date. There wasn't, then it said, in parentheses, no date given.
Okay. But like, there's not been another. There's not arguably been another time. Like that's the biggest time with planes in U.S. history.
Say what?
I said that's the biggest time in U.S. history with planes. Like so, that's like there's like no argument there.
So this is her prediction on the sinking of the Russian submarine, the Kursk, in 2000. And then in parentheses it says, note the way that she spelled the Kursk is K-E-R-S-K instead of K-U-R-S-K. So this is a different spelling, but pronunciation they presume would be the same, or people have assumed it to be the same. A big tragedy will happen in the sea off of Russia. And that's all that it said.
That's very
all that
generalized.
she said.
What?
That was all that. That's all that she said.
There was nothing about Kursk there, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. A big tragedy will. She said She said when speaking of the Kursk, K-E-R-S-K. It said she said a big tragedy will happen at the sea off of Russia.
What? So somebody's like, what's gonna happen to the Kursk?
That's all that they have here. The election of Barack Obama as the President of the United States.
Yeah, let's hear that one.
She predicted the election of a black man in the United States, a man of mixed race who will become the world leader. She did not name his name.
No, that's
she said a black president.
He's mixed race,
and that would make sense. You know, so I guess I guess you can kind of, you don't have to give a name on that one. That was the first.
Wide open. Open and shut.
Yep. Open shut, kid.
This is on the Syrian civil war and the refugee crisis. A great Muslim war will be led that will displace millions of people in the Syrian. But she spelled it.
Fuck you, bitch.
She spelled it differently. Unless this was like a typo on their part. There was two I's, so maybe it was a double tap on an I. And then on here, though, it does say that to remember that her prediction should be taken with a grain of salt, as many predictions have not come true. This is only a small list of ones that did. Some of these are some of the others were unverified. Furthermore, many of her predictions are open to interpretation. So
what are some of the ones that are more open to interpretations, or the ones that are considered not have coming true?
A lot of those are the ones that are the future ones. Obviously, those are unverified, because she made a lot of predictions for 2023. Like this year.
Okay, well, what is unproven yet? Let's hear what she said.
She said a great shaking will occur in 2023, causing massive earthquakes and tsunamis. What is that, bearded wonder?
What do you want, Yoder?
China will become the next superpower and will replace the United States.
I called it. I told you both.
A tremendous Muslim war in 2023 will lead to the death of millions of people and leave Europe almost uninhabitable. Nuclear war.
Yeah.
The discovery of a new energy source will change the course of humanity.
Hey, we did that, kind of.
The conflict in Ukraine and the annexation of Crimea by Russia will be a bloody time.
Yo.
There will be a Syrian. That was going back. Sorry, that was going back to the Syrian civil war and refugee crisis. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 2023.
Yeah, pretty much.
I guess. Let's see. Muslims will invade Europe and conquer it was another one. A great Muslim war will occur in 2023, leading to the deaths of millions of people. I think I already repeated myself now.
What's that one?
So, that is the list of now 6 there that, she had, that are obviously unverified, haven't, happened or anything like that. So, a few of them are,
I could see some of them.
A few of them are very
coming
specific. Now,
I could see some of them come true.
And she died now in 1996, so obviously this wasn't like, she died, 2 years ago or 4 years ago or something. We're talking, 27 years ago?
For my time, though.
Yeah.
You called the shit.
I had to figure it out right quick. 27. What? Higher?
No.
Oh.
Hi.
So I mean, she did have some that were, again, viable. I mean, at least this is somebody that we didn't interpret it wrong. And again, I just feel it's a lot of very carefully used words and phrases, and the way things are spoken. It's almost in a way that it does leave it up to interpretation to a certain extent, but there's enough, direct, things like saying specific, there's enough specifics, to make it more than coincidental.
No, yeah, that's kind of my thing with that. So,
and I mean, I hope she's wrong. I mean, rest her soul and everything, but wow, I really hope she's fucking wrong.
Or I hope that people see that and heed the warnings.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
It's not profitable.
It's too late for that.
Yeah, I know, and then I know it's not profitable, but like,
it needs to be done.
Understand it needs to be better. It should be better in humanity, not for ourselves. Remember, lose the greed.
Exactly.
Come one with God, or whatever.
Whatever gets your vacuum. Whatever gets you. Whatever you fucking bow down to. Whatever you say a prayer to when you're about to fucking get in a car accident.
Help me, Tom Cruise.
I would also pray to
Oh crap! Oh, you worship crap? I guess today I do. So there's your current one. Baba Vanga there. Now there's one kid out there that proclaims he's a Martian that's been sent or reborn here from Mars to try to save our civilization. And this kid's like a wackadoodle.
Wackadoodle.
I haven't even heard of this.
What?
Yeah, what are you going on about?
Where is this at? Like,
hold up.
Bring it on! Come on, iPhone!
Like he's existing?
Yes. Well, I don't know if he's still.
I want to actually see this man.
Oh shit! Fucking kid from Mars. I gotta look this shit up.
Again,
I'm quicker on the phone. Oh, here he is. A young Russian boy has left many scientists across the world baffled when he claimed to be from Mars. Boris Karipnik is a 23-year-old who lives in Volgograd in Russia. The boy who claims to be from Mars has alleged that he has lived on the red planet before being reborn on Earth as an apparent mission to save humankind. Here's everything to know about Boris Karipnik. The boy who claims to be from Mars. I can't fucking pronounce the... Dude, there's too many fucking Y's, B's, C's, H's, and K's. It's a bunch of consonants. What do you want me to do?
Oh, there's a way to say it.
Well, here, let's see. Hang on. I got a fire breathing Twitter machine. Just fucking, come on, search. No, this word.
I was trying to breathe when he said that.
Just speak, translate. Oh, here we go. Translate. Oh man. Choose language. Fucking English, man. I don't know any other language. What? English. Hang on, I'm gonna speak it in English.
Oh, give me that good English.
Krypniana. What?
What?
Krypnianovic. Here, just speak into the microphone, guy. Son of a bitch.
Kiprianovich.
There, that guy.
Kiprianovich?
Boris. Hang on, let me get his first name.
Kiprianovich.
Let me get his first name, because I probably am even saying his first name wrong. It's
Watch
probably
it be changed.
probably like Henry or some.
Watch it be changed.
Language. We need English again. Here, say his name.
Boriska Kiprianovich.
See, that's why I can't say it. Boris. I'm just gonna call him Boris. We cool with calling him Boriska?
Oh God.
All right, Boriska, because that's what he said.
I'm good with Boris.
All right, so he was born in 1996. That's weird because Baba Vanga passed away in 96. And is alleged genius boy from Mars. His mother is a doctor and claims that she always had a feeling that something was special about her genius boy from Mars.
Everybody
Boriska,
thinks their kid is
his mother
special.
has claimed in an interview given to a well-known media portal that she started speaking only a few months after he was born. She added by the age of 1.5, he was able to read, draw, and paint. When in kindergarten age of just 2, his teachers couldn't help but notice his extraordinary ability of writing and his language learning skills. In a 2017 interview given to Media Portal, one of Boriska's kindergarten teachers revealed that he had astonishing memory skills. His parents claimed they didn't teach their son anything about space when he was a kid, but oftentimes he would sit with them and talk about Mars for hours. As his fascination with space, and especially with the red planet, grew, he began claiming that he was from Mars. As per reports of a media portal, the genius boy from Mars has an impressive knowledge of planetary systems and space in general. I mean, there's a lot of shit to read about this kid that I don't know if I want to. Let's see. He said,
See the real life show.
in a shocking claim, the voice says they had many Martians that are immortals and stopped aging at 35 years old. They are extremely tall and capable of interstellar travel. He said he remembered what it was like when he was 14 or 15 years old when the Martians were waging war. Hence, he would often have to participate in air raids with his friends. It's been claimed in some reports by media portals that Boriska had an IQ of 201. However, there is no official confirmation of this. His claims Martians could travel in time and space and would be flying around in spaceships. He also claimed that Martian spaceships are very complicated. And this is a picture of the boy right here. Like,
What are you doing now? Or is this,
he said that basically humanity was screwed, and he kind of went into like a recluse kind of.
I mean, we are kind of. You're right.
He just recently.
Boris, you're correct.
He just recently kind of made, not headlines, but he had been talked about in the news or something. But you know, this kid's smart when it comes to like understanding Einstein, you know, and you know, shit like that. I mean, the kid's smart. I'll give him that. You know, whether he was taught that, you know, or whatever. I mean, to be that young and be that intelligent is quite impressive. I mean, I got a fraction of most, you know, somebody like that's intelligence. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
What?
What?
Not only did he become a recluse, he's protected by the Russian government.
Yeah.
You freaking failed to mention
Sorry.
that part.
Well, I'm trying not to get blown the fuck up, man. Putin
Blow me up.
threatened us.
Blow me up. I'm letting you know. Because what's coming at some point, you might as well fucking do it now. If you're gonna do it, do it.
So what about
Stop
our
playing with us. Do it.
So what about our modern people here? our modern people that are.
Sounds like we're
predicting-
fucked because Russia knows what's going to happen.
Baba
They're gonna
Vanga.
figure out how to go to Mars.
So
my
let's
thing.
Baba Vanga. I don't think she's going to be doing any kind of drugs. I mean, this was a, she was a religious person, but not like super religious, or anything like that. She was married. She did have a husband, so it's not like she was. Excuse me. She wasn't a complete
When was she
recluse.
around?
She passed away in
96.
'96, same year that this kid was born. So this kid's like,
You gonna tell me the 70s weren't a thing?
huh?
Tell me the 70s weren't a thing?
What do you mean the 70s weren't a thing? Baba Vanga's been around since the 20s. 23 to 96.
She died in 1996.
So she was around that whole time.
Even during the 70s, hallucinogenics were real.
I get that, but she was the country that she was in, and I mean, she was just a commoner. I guess, yes, people do have their vices, and it is a possibility, so we can't rule it out. But I don't think it's the higher probability.
What is the higher probability?
I think her probability was, one, she was blinded at a young age. Really traumatic experience. I think because she's not able to see things, I think perhaps the brain and everything still functions. It can still dream. It can still see. Like if she were to close her eyes, like if you close your eyes and you say, oh, you can see like your most favorite sports car right there.
Nope.
You can kind of almost picture it in your
Nope.
mind. You can't picture just.
I can picture a word. I can picture a word sports car.
You can picture a word?
Yeah.
Okay, well, even picturing a word, you can still close your eyes and picture something, right? Okay, so that's your brain, using its memory and its, recollection of things. So she could essentially be doing the same thing because she was blinded at a young age. So she has memories and of vision and seeing things and stuff like that. So she could have dreams. What if maybe she's hearing things on news?
So wait a minute. You're telling
or-
me you don't think blind people can have a dream?
No, I think
No.
they absolutely can. Even if
Okay.
you're born blind, I think you can absolutely
Okay.
have a dream. I think you have that ability. I think the brain is a more complicated thing than we
My
understand.
thing is what do you think everything looks like?
Exactly, that's my thing. So what is she really seeing? Maybe she's getting maybe she's seeing like things like blow, like just something like that, like fireworks or something, because maybe that's what the opticals are firing. Like, okay, and she's thinking, and maybe she's hearing about, tensions in an area, and she's seeing this and this like that, and she goes, oh, there's going to be a great war. Maybe she's perceiving that as bombs because maybe at a young age she remembered seeing something go up in the air and explode and think, oh, it's like a bomb. She was born in 23, let's see, 9 years old. That would put her in the early 30s. So that's at a time of war over in those areas.
This can wait.
Yeah, we'll be done here in a little bit. So I think maybe hers was using a combination of what was going on around her and what she may have been seeing in her mind's eye, so to speak. Being able to see that like imagination or whatever, vision when your eyes are closed. I think that's gonna be more, to me, that would be more probable than
So
she was tripping.
you think she's guesstimating?
I think there is a great deal of guesstimation. I think she's
I
seeing
mean,
certain
definitely.
things and then maybe just seeing something and then kind of turning it into.
I could definitely see that. I would argue that's what all of them are kind of doing in a sense. I mean, with hers, it's just a different. Like she just has like I said, I think they all do it the same thing in one aspect, but they have different ways of getting there
Absolutely.
because they're all different individuals that have different beliefs. Is kind of my thing.
Now the food poisoning part I could see,
Yeah.
because again,
Absolutely.
poor country, probably didn't, she wasn't like super wealthy or anything like that. She didn't You know,
Yeah.
she didn't sell her predictions for money. She just spoke to people.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and just wrote things down. So she wasn't like, you know, there's a lot of people that, you know, would, you know, flock to see her, you know, and she would just kind of, you know, I guess, more or less, you know, just kind of, you know, just kind of like put her hand on them and, you know, say some words and you know, not, I don't know if it was like that, like maybe just give them peace of mind, like, you know, you're gonna be, you know, maybe touch them, be like, you're gonna be okay, or, you know, just, you know, but then jeez, oh Pete, somebody's gonna end up falling through the floor. Now this, you know, this Bordiska Keknanoviek, they actually tried it on that. That was closer than I got before. I'm not sure what to really perceive for that one. I think that just might be a really smart, you know, savant. You know, somebody that's just insanely, you know, smart, Einstein like or Hawking like, as far as maybe IQ. I mean, talking it just, you know, a couple of months and reading and writing and drawing and painting at a year and a half. That's pretty impressive. I mean, I remember when the boys were a year and a half, they weren't doing anything. I mean, they were painting, but not what you think. I mean, they were painting. They were hand painting walls, or, you know,
Oh, I remember what I was doing at that age.
painting diapers. So you're, you know, being able to talk about astrology and interplanetary stuff at like 9-10 years old. No, not on that level.
No.
You know, saying stars, moon, you know, maybe Mars, you know, seeing the red star and saying Mars. I could see that, you know. At 9 years old,
yeah, but
maybe seeing. But
I would have, but I was also taught that stuff.
But this kid was having concept of like light speed and, you know, those kinds of things, gravitational stuff, you know, like
not at
more physics in theory.
I didn't get that out of that.
Theoretical.
I mean,
astrophysics.
It sounded like that when he got older, but I did not get that when he was like 9. Okay.
No, but he's, you know, that's when his fascination with it, you know, or whatever started. But I mean, if you're that smart, man, you're gonna read a lot. And I mean, if he was born in '96,
yeah,
that's the dawn of the internet. If I focused
my stuff somewhere, I probably would have gotten a lot better too.
Right.
It's kind of my argument.
Well, just think if you had 5 years, you know, more jump start on the internet than you had now. Think of your capability. I mean, shit, I had that chance, but, you know, stupid decisions and consequences, and, you know, bada bing, bada boom.
I make better choices.
Yeah. So we have one era where we think it may have been the things they were around or ingesting, you know, having some kind of hallucinogenic thing.
Not necessarily hallucinogenic.
No,
just
not
mind altering.
Mind altering state.
Hallucinogenics was just one thing I threw out there.
Mm-hmm. And then we have another generation where it may be more, or no, not generation. We have another, you know, group of, you know, people that have made predictions or foreseen future events or such that don't have that, you know, commonality with them, but is more.
There's ones that aren't doing stuff to alter their mind to get there.
Yeah, so they're more of a, I don't want to say scientific, but I want to say organic. I mean, I don't know if that's the right term. More of an organic.
I don't know. You'd have to
approach
them to me.
Meaning, like, more of an organic approach. Meaning,
what are they doing? What are they doing that's different? How are they making these predictions? What are their predictions? Who are you talking about?
They see, for Baba Vanga, it was just dreams that she had, or visions that she had while, you know, praying or you know, or just whatever.
Putting herself in a meditative state.
So another mind altering state. Okay, this kid, by the sounds of it, was just a nerd.
I mean, for lack of a better term, just a really smart kid. I think we're just
That
dealing
was
with
just
him.
that was my argument. That's why I kind of back. I mean, seems like a good guy, and like.
And that's what I mean by organic. These are more organic things, more because I can put myself into a meditative state, and that is mind altering. You do feel better. It triggers endorphins and other things. You can dream, see visions. I guess. I mean, shit. Every time with the way my brain works, I close my eyes and I can. It's like watching a a dim television, you know, like, and I can see it. I can pick certain things out, and go back and I can hear the conversation, in my head, and basically replay it. Not all the time is it like that, but probably a good 75 to 80% of the time. So I mean, if you lose one of your senses, your other ones are gonna be heightened.
Oh, yeah.
So she lost her vision. So
Good argument.
I mean,
so I know today it's actually been a pretty lengthy sesh, so we could kind of finish it off next week if we wanted, and then because we were going to talk about touching on like the telepathy, telepathy, mind reading kind of stuff, which is kind of somewhat similar to that. Or do we want to try to like stuff that in a quick period of time? I feel like that's a whole different subject.
I feel like it's a whole different subject.
Okay.
I don't even know how they're related. But
Okay.
yeah, if you want to do next week,
God bless you. Unless there was anything else you wanted to.
I'm good.
Were you able to get your things that you had out? Because I know you said you had a few things to throw in. Or
Yeah.
You already got them? Sweet. Unless you got any, I mean, you guys got any ideas for next week? I know Brad talked about, we had talked about the men staring at goats movie. But how the men staring at goats movie, kind of how that was like a military / government kind of experiment to see if you could basically control one's mind or read where one's at through, what was the term used?
I don't remember.
It was weird, but I mean, there's shit to back up that one, this experiment really went on, and two, there's the experiment where people have like a divider between the, they can't see one another.
Yep.
One person will draw a shape, and then they'll make eye contact, and just make eye contact, and you think about that shape that you drew, and that other person will draw the shape.
I'll be back.
Oh, yeah. All right, love you, bud. Sorry, I was in the middle of a sneeze.
See ya.
Love you. Take it easy, bud.
Love you.
I forgot what I was saying. I sneezed and and then the other person will draw that shape. And they'll be able to like telekinesis, telepathy,
So
telekinesis.
couldn't we put that as a part of it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that being able to, like, that altered state of mind kind of thing.
Is that what we're?
That's what we'll go into.
Is that not what the movie's about? It is. Okay.
So that's what we want to do that next week then, because that'll probably be a session.
Telepathy.
Yeah, and like the whole
telepathy, telekinesis,
mind reading kind of stuff.
I'm here to
and I will actually attempt to read both of your minds next week. I'll attempt it.
Good luck.
Huh?
I can't.
Oh, I can. I haven't. Yeah, it's all a trick.
Good luck.
What am I thinking right now?
It's all a trick if you use numbers.
What am I thinking right now?
You were thinking I am insane. Oh.
I was thinking cats.
All right, so until next week, try to keep your train on the tracks and your stick on the ice, and we will see you next week.
Peace.
Burn them if you got them.